All right, good morning. My name is Shannon Garman, and I'm the marketing director for RSP. We're happy to have everyone here in attendance today, and happy Wednesday, happy hump day, as they say. Today we're going to be talking about how to supercharge your real estate career with Facebook. We're really excited about this. There's a lot of strategies and tactics that we'll be sharing today that will help you to leverage Facebook and its targeted marketing capabilities to really grow your business and generate a lot more brand awareness for yourself and your brand. So to start things off, I wanted to introduce Corey Cottonwar. He is the product manager and social media expert for RSP. Corey has over 6 years of experience with helping brands like yourself take advantage of social media platforms like Facebook. And also prior to this, Corey was a marketing manager and a real estate agent. So he has a lot of industry experience as well to share with you today. So Corey, I'll let you take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Shannon, and thank you everybody for joining us today. So I want to, before getting started, see if just a few of you wouldn't mind typing into the question box just to confirm you guys can hear us okay, but also to confirm some of the functionality of that. We're going to be using that question box throughout this entire webinar. Thank you, Brian. I can already see some responses coming in. So that question box that you guys see there, go ahead and use that during the course of this webinar. We have everybody in listen only mode. There's a lot of attendees, so we want to make sure that we keep things clean and we carry on throughout. Any questions that you guys pose through there, we'll have a Q&A at the end of the session that we get to. And that's really an excellent time for us to kind of dive into a lot of things that maybe we didn't cover, questions that you have about Facebook marketing, about our product, our business, really anything that you want to go over. So feel free to use that throughout the course of the webinar, and we'll come back to those towards the end. So to get started, we're just going to highlight what the webinar will be about today. We are going to be going over the state of Facebook. It's been in the news a lot recently. I'm sure everybody has their own opinions and kind of wants to know a bit more about really what's going on behind the scenes. But also, what does it mean for the landscape of Facebook marketing? How can it be used as a real estate agent, and in what ways can you leverage that as a solution? We're also going to talk about RSP social ads. So we have a product out that really helps you capitalize on Facebook as an advertising solution and addresses some of the pain points there. And hopefully we can go over a few ways that you can utilize that effectively, how that works, getting started there. And then, as I mentioned, a Q&A towards the end of the session. This webinar is usually only going to take about 20 or 30 minutes of the presentation. We'll have a hard stop at exactly 12 Eastern. So about an hour, long if the Q&A goes that long. But again, we'll be here the whole time, to field any questions you guys have. So to get started, we're going to go into the state of Facebook. So they have over 200 million US users. So over almost two-thirds of the population of the United States has a Facebook profile. So absolutely hard to fathom numbers there. It's an incredible platform that has for over 10 years now been utilized both by personal profiles and by businesses alike. But it's pretty simple. It's where the people are. I mean, everybody uses Facebook, and for a variety of reasons. And worldwide, they're continuing to grow. So there's really no signs of slowing down, despite what you might be hearing in the news. Those users are spending over 25 hours each month on Facebook. So this is a statistic that I actually really find incredible. If you look at sort of traditional marketing in terms of the big dollars, where a lot of people spend the big money, you really always think about commercial TV advertising. That's because that's where the eyeballs are. They're going in front of millions and millions of viewers and allowing themselves to get in front of them for an extended period of time with mixed messages and all kinds of things. Facebook has really shot itself into that space. 25 hours every month, that's as much as people will spend on certain TV networks and programs where people traditionally would be spending millions and millions of dollars to get in front of, which is why those same brands are also spending that much money on Facebook each month. I actually saw an interesting article recently that talked about store visits on Facebook and how restaurants, for example, would be tracking people who are visiting their restaurant. And I was astonished to find out that they say on average, Facebook does, that a user in a restaurant spends 4 to 5 minutes scrolling through Facebook. So if you think about the opportunities just there alone to capture a user within Facebook for restaurants to track how their ads are doing, it's just really incredible the amount of use that Facebook gets in a lot of different settings. So what does that mean for business? 78% of people say that posts by a company actually impact their purchases. So I'm sure that you guys have seen it scrolling through your own Facebook feed. You see posts from your family and posts from your friends and from pages you follow, and you're liking, photos of your mother, and then your next thing you're liking photos of a pair of jeans you saw that you like. And it's almost become just sort of second nature to be engaging with brands and businesses at the same time that you're socially engaging with friends and family. So Facebook has really hit a home run in that regard. But as I mentioned, I'm sure everybody's wondering, what does this mean? What does all the data concerns and kind of the things Facebook's been in the news for the landscape and the future of Facebook advertising? Shortly after Zuckerberg appeared in front of Congress here, they released their earnings reports and Q1 stock reports. So we looked at it and kind of saw it and said, okay, how did this impact advertisers? Obviously, it wasn't a quick turnaround. Or was a quick turnaround, I should say. There really wasn't a lot of time for any long-term impacts to be felt, but their earnings were once again, they beat projections. Their stock soared, and all of this is because despite data concerns, it's still one of the premier advertising solutions. Hopefully, Facebook will address their data issues, and they'll do it effectively and gain back some of the trust that they've obviously violated. But ultimately, in our opinion, long term, the network really doesn't have a close competitor, and it will continue to grow in terms of people who are using it and how effective it can be as a business solution. And again, if you have any questions specific to issues like this, feel free to type them in and we'll get to them later on. With the drastic usage of Facebook and how, as I pointed out, over 200 million users, that also creates a unique opportunity for businesses to advertise organically in front of these people. So what ended up happening in the last 5 years or so is the amount of Facebook business pages really shot up to in Facebook's eyes, a great but concerning level. So over 65 million business pages registered on Facebook. Those business pages are making almost 100 million page posts each day. That number right there is astonishing. So if you think about what Facebook would look like if they allowed all of these posts to just appear to everybody who's on Facebook, all you would see are business posts. So nobody would use the network. Obviously, their product is their news feed and how people consume all of the things that are posted. So Facebook had to do whatever they could to limit how many business posts you see so that your experience as a consumer is still a good one using Facebook. As a result, they had to reduce the organic reach to just 2%. So organic reach is just really a way to say how many posts get seen by people without paying for them to see it. So if I'm a business, if I'm a real estate agent and I have 100 people who have liked my page and I make a post that to my network, only 2 people on average that have liked my page are going to see that post. Now, this is drastically different from 5 or 6 years ago. The tactic used to be grow your Facebook page's audience, and then after you've hit a good threshold, maybe a couple hundred fans of your page or 1,000, just make a whole bunch of free posts from that point on, and you'll get business, and it will be consistent, and you'll be in front of them. And that was the easiest way to do it, and also a very affordable way. But because of how crowded it's become as a business tool, Facebook's been forced to reduce that organic kind of free business growth method pretty drastically. So what does that mean? It's what we call now pay to play. And it's unfortunate to hear, but it's the reality of it. 3 million businesses are now advertising on Facebook, which is up from 2 million last year. Facebook reported over 40 billion in advertising revenue in 2017. So you can obviously sense it's not just a fad. People aren't saying, oh, just want to try it. Businesses are seeing actual return on investment, returning and spending an insane amount of money on the network to advertise. So Oops, skipped one here. I want to show you guys just a quick little blurb from an article from Inman. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this network. Inman's a tremendous resource in real estate. It's technology forward. They have really a lot of posts and content and articles about sort of new tech trends and things like social media and Zillow and Google and stuff very beneficial in the real estate space. They had a recent article about how rates are rising on Facebook, but it's because it's becoming really the front runner in advertising, giving Zillow and Google a run for their money. Some of the more traditional kind of digital routes that people are going, paying Zillow or spending money on Google, pay-per-click ads. So it's really becoming an elite advertising solution. So I want to go over how Facebook ad bidding works. Usually when people think about Facebook advertising, they think about what does my ad look like? What does my post look like? The content of it? Who am I targeting? What's their age? What's their demographics? But there's kind of a Facebook secret sauce, so to speak, behind the scenes. Their algorithm and how they determine what ads are shown and when is a very important thing to understand as advertisers. So we're obviously going to show you a bit later about something we've created to make all of this easy for you. But I also want to highlight some of these things for you as an advertiser, should you maybe have run ads in the past, or should you want to try them yourself. So Facebook ad bidding it's complex behind the scenes, all the things that go on in their algorithm. It's really a lot of moving parts, but it's actually quite simple in concept to understand. So here I am browsing through my Facebook on my phone. I see a post from a friend asking for song recommendations. I'll keep browsing. I see a post from Mashable. If there are any Game of Thrones fans, this is Jon Snow and Ygritte actually getting engaged in real life. Then you continue scrolling and Facebook says, okay, now's the time to serve this person an ad. They've experienced some organic content. We're ready to show them an ad from a business. So here's where they have to take bids and determine who gets that ad space. So here's what they know about me. I'm a male. I'm between 25 and 35. I'm engaged. I live in Framingham, Massachusetts. I drive a Jeep. I shop online. I have a credit card, a debit card, a mortgage. I like ice hockey, and thousands more things. Obviously, this comes back to that whole data principle. They know a lot. I obviously, Facebook being one of my areas of expertise, I'm fully aware of the data they have on me, why they got it, how they have it. To some, it's alarming, but they still do know a lot of these things. It has to do with how I'm engaging with the network, pages I like, things I'm buying online, all of that. So they know this, and they make this available to their advertisers in some kind of restricted fashion where the advertiser doesn't know who I am. They just say, I want a person who's between 25 and 35 who drives a Jeep. Maybe it's an automotive dealership that wants to serve me an ad about some part for my Jeep. Then everybody who wants to serve me that ad bids. So a whole bunch of different advertisers say, we want this person. Facebook takes the bid that's best and puts the ad right then and there, and that's how I get served that ad. So I'm going to show you another example with a different visual that is specific to real estate. So let's say we have a target of consumers that are first-time home buyers. We have another target that are new parents, another target that are renters. You're saying, okay, these are probably make up a pretty ideal consumer to target. Then you have an actual category within Facebook called likely to move. That's probably a category most other real estate agents are going to select. So we have a whole bunch of people selecting that category. Where would you say that's that kind of ideal spot within this diagram would be? It would be right there in that green circle. So that encapsulates really all of those people. Facebook says these are likely to move. They're new parents, first-time home buyers, and renters. I mean, who wouldn't really want to target that segment of users? The problem is that happens to also be the area everyone else is targeting. Those are the most ideal customers, which means bidding to get in front of them, it will be the most expensive. So if you restrict your targeting too little this way, it's going to cost too much, and you may get actual actions, for a very expensive amount of money, but very few other kind of statistics. And on top of that, it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to actually spend money to get in front of these people. So what ends up happening far too often with inexperienced advertisers, and really even more so with even people who have done it and think that they may be down the right track, is they do this. They say, okay, well, I'm a real estate agent. If someone wants to buy a house, I don't care who it is, where they come from, or what their money looks like. If they have money and they want to buy a house, I'll be their agent, which is the right mentality to have in most cases. The problem is that's not how advertising works. So you may say, well, I want to just target all 500,000 people in this area and I don't care about the rest of this stuff. Facebook will then give you that whole green area outside of these dots, because those are the people who are really affordable to bid for. They may also be people who just click on everything on Facebook. So Facebook says, hey, we'll give them 100 clicks by sending them to 100 people who happen to click on everything. So you're going to end up getting in front of a whole bunch of people that waste all of the money you're spending on that ad because they're not the right person. And there was really very little chance they'd convert into an actual customer in the end anyway. So it's one of the most common misconceptions about advertising. The more you target is not necessarily the better that your ads will be. So I know this is all kind of painting a doom and gloom picture and sort of what does it all mean? And what I want to highlight is kind of one of the common trends today and why data is so important. And here's an illustration of how data outside of Facebook's network can really help you maximize what results you get. So you can see these green dots all over the place. They're independent of Facebook's targeting. You have some that don't fall within it at all. You have a bunch that are in it as well. What this allows you to do is actually pinpoint users regardless of what the targeting parameters we know about them are, because you know external data that can actually pinpoint who they are, where they are, and how to target in front of them. The problem with this is it's expensive. It's incredibly expensive. This is the kind of data that these large companies are using. Coca-Cola is using big data to make sure their ads are enhanced and delivering as optimal as possible. And that's what big data is. It's a buzzword that you've probably heard, but unfortunately, it's usually restricted to a lot of those big time advertisers. But what we've done is try to create a solution that basically takes that concept and applies it in an affordable fashion that sort of mimics some of the traditional marketing that real estate agents are used to. So obviously, you're familiar with postcard marketing, what it does, why you do it, and what it looks like. We wanted to create a solution that, like I said, mimics that, but mimics it on Facebook and on kind of a more new age modern marketing platform. If you have to take one thing away from what the ads are and what the product does, is they're dead simple leads. We were really kind of sick and tired of a lot of the programs available that have some of the bells and whistles, or maybe promote that they'll get you seen by 10,000 people. A lot of the problems with those are very similar to that diagram I highlighted just a few minutes ago. 10,000 impressions doesn't necessarily mean 10,000 possible customers that just saw your ad. It's not, rarely do advertisers optimize this way because it's very difficult to execute in this fashion. But that's what we wanted, dead simple lead gen. So to do that, we created a completely automated Facebook ad solution. Automation allows us to control performance, but also keep costs down. With automation, we don't have people overseeing all of your ad campaigns and making manual tweaks that they have just assumed or learned to be correct. Our smart system really does all of it for you. It requires one of the best parts: no experience, no skills, or no fans. If you've never even been on Facebook in your entire life, you create an account and create a business page in 10 minutes and you're ready to advertise. If you're assuming a user of Facebook for a personal level, maybe you even use it professionally for your, let's say you use your personal page for real estate. You can create a Facebook business page in about 2 minutes. But all of that aside, you don't need any kind of prior fan build up. Your page doesn't need to have a bunch of posts on it for these ads to work. The order process is start to finish in less than 2 minutes. We made it as simple and as quick as you possibly could. And one of the best parts is that they're on-demand, affordable campaigns. You don't need to commit to us for 6 months. You don't need to sign any big, intimidating contracts. You order a campaign, it's over. If you like it, you come back. It's really simple in that regard. And as I mentioned, mimicking postcards, we have two campaign types. We have just listed and just sold ads. So if you have any homes that you've just listed or homes that you've recently sold, they're eligible to be used in these advertisements. So let's just kind of go over quickly how it works, what it is that we're talking about, and what they look like. So they're mobile Facebook ads. They're not actually exclusively mobile, but they're about 90 to 95% mobile ads. So primarily mobile phones. That's where the users are. That's where they're using it. And that's what's important. We'll get into kind of some of the issues with mobile advertising and why a lot of advertisers struggle to create actions through mobile advertising. But these ads are actually designed to optimize on mobile more so than on desktop. They target likely movers in the area. So again, we'll get into how we're doing that. But you can see here, less than 3 miles away on Forest Avenue in this example of an ad. So they're very hyper-local ads. They're branded for you. So they're your Facebook page. We're not using our brand to promote you so we can also get some kind of cross benefit. They have your name, your logo, your branding right then and there. So they're designed to get leads, but you're also getting that brand awareness in your area, in your neighborhood that you have your listing in. They're designed to showcase the listing, so you can see an exterior image of the property. They're designed to show the listing to a consumer and get them engaged and interested right then and there. Viral reach, viral's kind of a fancy buzzword, maybe even a bit exaggerated. Obviously, your ad's not going to go viral and be seen by millions of people, but virality in this sense would be the fact that somebody can engage with your ad and say, oh, I'm not interested in buying this home or in real estate at the moment, but my best friend wants to move into my town. I can comment and tag them, hey, take a look at this house. We actually see that a ton. We see a ton of engagement in the comment section, in the like and share section. People will say, are there any open houses coming up? Or, what's the address on the home? Where you begin engaging with possible consumers you've never met before, right in the comment section of an ad about your home. So right then and there, you can turn leads or consumers who aren't yet leads into actual points of contact, leads that you can then begin communicating with. The ad copy is fully optimized. So again, this is all built by our system on our end of things. We take care of all of this for you, so you don't have to know what ad or what content is going to make the most sense. We have a system that tests all of this, that says, hey, adding a period here instead of an exclamation point has led to 2 more leads per 6 days and all this fancy data. That's the stuff that we're doing for you, so you don't have to guess. And then most importantly, their lead capture, which I'll show you how the technology we're using on Facebook captures leads. It's quite astonishing. Before getting there, I want to point out one of the most common kind of misconceptions in advertising. This circles back to not only talking about our product, but giving you guys some tips on Facebook ads themselves. Never assume that what visually is the most appealing to you or may seem most logical. Never assume that means it will result in better performance. Performance is somewhat strange in this regard in advertising, and especially in social advertising. You can see the example here. New listing in Newton, 5-bed, 5-bath, new construction home. I doubt any of you here would say that that's a less attractive ad copy than the one on the right that just says new listing in Newton. Most people would assume more description and a fancier explanation is a better ad. But what actually ended up happening in this test, for example, is the ad on the left got 1,600, over almost 1,700 views, 32 clicks, and 2 leads. The ad on the right targeted to the same people. You can see everything else about the ad is exactly the same, pretty much the same amount of views, because again, that's bidding. That's just Facebook saying, let's serve it to these people. 40 more clicks and 6 more leads in the ad on the right. So that's just a one example, one-off case of an ad that performed far better than another variant of itself with just a few small tweaks in text. So it's very important if you do advertising on your own, or really across the board in any capacity and in any medium, don't settle with just kind of one version or what the version you think is best. It's really, really important to make sure you're testing things and almost counterintuitively sometimes go with things that maybe you didn't want to at first, just to see how it might work. So to get into the targeting, this really is kind of what I would say our secret sauce is, and why this is a huge differentiator between what a lot of other marketing products are doing. They're hyper-local, as I mentioned, so they're just a few miles around the listing, which is important for a variety of reasons. But as I showed earlier, we're not just targeting those consumers that are 2 miles around the home. We use our proprietary likely mover profile to pinpoint all of those people in that radius. We're doing this using data we've collected from all of the campaigns we've run. So if your home if your listing is a $500,000 home, and then someone else orders wants to order a listing ad from us a week later, we can actually use the data points from your ad that we previously ran to then pinpoint possible new consumers who look just like them. So we're not actually targeting those people that became leads. We're targeting people who look like them and behave like them digitally. They may again, be in the same age range. They may have, you know, a lot of the same characteristics and demographic characteristics. And we use that to then say, okay, these are the people we want to target, pinpointing them, you know, again, independent of Facebook's own targeting parameters that they give us. So to get into the lead gen part, this is the part that as I've mentioned, is really important. The landing page, as you're used to and familiar with hearing, is actually built right into the ad itself. So mobile phones, as I talked about earlier, they're great and it's an awesome place to advertise, but the problem is it's really difficult to get someone to convert into, really in any business, to convert into a sale. Not as many people are comfortable buying things on their phone as they are on their desktop or laptop. And similarly, they're not as comfortable typing out their information and submitting it to a business through their phone as they are through a laptop or desktop. Facebook launched this solution to help remedy the exact problem, which we've utilized. So here's your ad, just listed nearby in Newton. See the listing price. Let's say that's my neighbor's house and I want to know what they listed it for. I click learn more. Now I'm here. This is the best part. So Facebook actually pulls this information directly from my Facebook profile. I haven't left Facebook yet. You can see the search bar at the top. I'm still in Facebook's network. Traditionally, that click right here would send me off to your agent website. Maybe that's, you know, your Coldwell Banker agent, and it goes to your Coldwell Banker profile. But there I'd have to type in all my information and submit it to you. Here I click learn more, and before going anywhere, Facebook says, submit your information to learn more. Rather than me having to type that info, that's pre-filled by Facebook. They know my email, they know my name, and they know my phone number. So I don't actually have to type a single thing. So this improves lead conversion immensely. It really removes that burden of having to type stuff on your phone and maybe mistype or just decide I'll do that later. So all I have to do now is just click submit. You do have the option to go in and edit. So maybe you have a business email and you want to change it to a personal, or the phone number is outdated. You can update that right then and there and then hit submit. So after submitting your information, our system actually sends, so that I just became a lead. So our system would then take my info and email it directly to you, the real estate agent who's advertising, that you just got a new lead and here's your information. So that comes automatically in real time. You could be on your phone, going to a listing appointment or traveling with a client, and get an email from us that you just got a new lead. So it's right there in your hand when you need it. After submitting the info, we're then prompted, like you would have been originally, to view the website provided that ideally provides more information on that listing. So in this case, it's going to be this page here. It'll give us the information that they're seeking, the listing price, maybe the bedrooms, how many baths it is, and that way their experience comes full circle. So to give you a sense of how we're reporting back on all of this, you can see here is a live reporting page. We give this to you when you order your campaign. There's no login required. We're kind of sick of having to make people log into a bunch of different things to see all of the tools. We wanted to make this nice and easy. So it's just a link that doesn't require any kind of login at all. You can use this in listing presentations. Someone might say, well, what makes you different from the next agent, or what do you use to advertise? It's just kind of another tool to throw in your arsenal and say, well, I do these, you know, on top of all of the other things that I'm doing. They're lead gen ads, and here's how many impressions they'll get, and et cetera, et cetera. So this, you can see here, this status page shows you your leads, their information, allows you to download that. It shows you the clicks that your ad has generated. And this updates this updates in real time. So as you get a new click, it'll update. It's not like an end of day thing or the end of your campaign. You can track this as it goes along. You can see it provides a breakdown of the clicks and also a breakdown of the views. Who's this being seen by? Their age range, their gender, and then back to the clicks, you can see where they're actually clicking. So link clicks, leads, post reactions, as I pointed out earlier, comments, anything like that. It'll give you a breakdown of what you have there. So to give you just a quick case study, what do these, how do these perform, and can we see one that's actually, been run and how it worked? So here's the 7-day just listed ad in Jupiter. You can see the ad campaign. The image that was used was one of the more ideal ones. It's a home on the water. That's great to emphasize and highlight that that's a unique characteristic of the home. You can see it had over 2,300 views, 174 clicks, and 13 leads. And we made sure to pull really a average performing campaign. This is not campaign with overwhelming data. We wanted to say, hey, check out this, and everyone's sitting there thinking, yeah, right. This is a very, very typical campaign for us and typical results that you'd see. So I'm sure everyone's been wondering this whole time, enough about all this, what does it cost me? So it's broken down into three different price points, which are pretty simple to understand. There's a 3-day, a 7-day, and a 14-day campaign. So it's obviously, we've priced it so it's a bit more affordable per day to go at a longer length, a 7 or 14-day campaign. A lot of people will try it out at the 3-day $99 price point, and after they like it and become familiar and want to continue using, will return at a 7 and 14-day price point. You can see kind of what you can expect for performance below that. So what does this price include? It includes the ad budget, it includes the ad creation, it includes optimization of the ad, the reporting, really everything I've showed you today, that's all included in this price. There's no kind of hidden fees or things that you don't see here that you're charged for. It's a la carte ordering. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this presentation, there's no contract, there's no obligation to stick around. You buy it for 3 days and you can return at any point later should you have liked it and want to come back. So that's obviously, as a business, that's difficult for us to deliver ads that are high performing and be so confident in our product that we don't need to lock you in. That's why a lot of those businesses do that. They say, well, we know they won't love it, so let's make them stay here for 3 months at minimum. So that's really the kind of the origin of a lot of those contracts and month-to-month stipulations. But here we want to make sure that you understand we're confident in what we're delivering and don't want to lock you in. So one of the best things, we're doing a 20% off special as a result of this webinar that is running as a promotion until the end of day this Friday. So if you go to our website, which I'll show you in the next slide, you can get 20% off any of these campaigns live on the website. You don't need a promo code, nothing like that. And that will run right until the end of day Friday. You can order as many as you'd like, try it out, and you'll get 20% off. So that brings that price down to this. So to show you how to order, you go to https://www.rsppro.com/Facebook. Once there, you'll see this here. Obviously, another illustration of the ad itself, a quick explanation of what it is. Then you can see that green box here, Get Started. So you just begin by typing in the listing that you want to be used, whether it be a transaction, a recent transaction, or a current active listing. Click Find Property. And it will then pull it up, and you'll see from there. It's very intuitive, and it will ask you a couple of the details that you need to submit to us. What ad length you want it to be, and a few things like that, your image and all that. So after that, it's very intuitive, and it will be pretty straightforward to submit an order should you want to, but it's all done from here. So that's all. Thank you guys again for attending. I think Shannon's going to hop back in now and start going through some of the questions that you guys asked. I'll leave this slide up for you. Should you guys want to go ahead while you're still on this webinar, maybe pop onto the website and take a look. Again, that's on the left there at www.rsppro.com/Facebook. And if you have any questions in terms of maybe details about your unique situation, somebody that you want to reach out and just kind of get a sense from how do things work a bit further, or maybe you don't know how your Facebook page is set up and whether it's ready to run ads, feel free to give us a call. So you can reach out to that number there, 1-800-298-1918, and just select option 3 after that.
It's not. Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Corey. The first question that we have, I know that we might have maybe a new agent or one that's just in between having a listing. So their question was, I don't have a listing. Is it possible to run one of these ads?
That's an excellent question. We've had a lot of agents who have asked that in the past, and one of the things we usually suggest in that case would be really just to ask an agent in your office. If you are working on a team or if you're new to the office, really no agent's going to say no to free advertising for their own listing. We don't have any kind of requirement that it's their own listing or that we don't have a verification process. We just want to make sure that there is approval. We don't want to run an ad for a listing from some agent you don't know and they don't know you're doing it. So in a lot of cases in the past, we'll have just an agent verify that that's okay, that they can run an ad on their behalf. None of the copy within the ad itself suggests that it's your own listing. You know, it doesn't say here's my new exclusive listing. So there won't be any kind of miscommunication in that regard, where we're falsely advertising that it's your listing and it's really not. So that's really a common method that we use to tell new agents to market, especially a lot of times if you're sitting in at an open house and you want to promote the open house, maybe try to drum up some interest in the home prior to your open house. Running an ad prior to that from the agent, you know, who gave you the open house is a smart thing to do.
Okay, great. And then another question that we have here, some good questions coming in. I use my personal Facebook page for business. Can I use this for these ads?
So it's another, I'm glad it was asked, a good question. The personal pages for Facebook, and I think I touched on this a bit earlier, it's very common for a real estate agent to use their personal page for business purposes. Obviously, real estate is a personal kind of business. You need to have good connections with your clients. It's a very engaged, kind of open lines of communication. So it makes perfect sense to use your personal page to conduct business. Unfortunately, Facebook does not allow you to run ads through personal pages. Technology-wise, they have to physically be run through a business page. If you don't have one, that may sound daunting, or you don't even really know where to begin. You have two options. You can reach out to us and ask us to send you in the right direction, or you can just Google. If you Google how to create a Facebook business page, the very first result will be a quick little article from Facebook that says, here's what you do and what you need, and a link right there. I am not exaggerating when I say it probably will take you 3 minutes to create your own Facebook business page. You really only need a minimum of just your actual page name, which would be your agent name, something like realtor, and maybe your license number. And then it will ask you for the region that you're in, the location of your location-based business, and what industry you're in, so that you're in real estate. And that's really all you need to get your page created. From that point on, you'll obviously be able to add things like an image, a profile image, or a cover image, anything of that nature. But to actually physically get it set up, it will take you just a few minutes.
Okay. And then looks like we had another question come in. Does it matter if a listing isn't new or if it has been on the market for a while?
It does not. We've had some of the most successful campaigns we've seen actually have been a few kind of outdated listings where the agent was becoming dissatisfied, and I'm sure that the sellers themselves weren't happy that the home was still on the market. And this is kind of an excellent way to use sort of an alternative marketing approach to getting the listing seen. So it may use the terminology just listed, and that could seem to suggest it has to be a very, very new listing. But it doesn't have to be. We've had, again, success in kind of both listing and sold. So advertising a transaction that you sold maybe in the last 2 months or so. That's an excellent way to get some marketing out of things you've done in the past.
Okay, great. And Corey, another question. What days of the week are the most effective to capture leads on Facebook based on your experience, or is it just better to
Okay,
run?
that's a common question. It's a great line of thinking, and always kind of wondering, you know, what days of week work best, what time of day works best. Fortunately, Facebook does a lot of this for you. Obviously, if you run an ad from Monday to Thursday, you're not letting Facebook choose what day of the week to run it. But our data has seemed to suggest that there really is no variance in performance in terms of days of the week. Again, Facebook will use time as an important metric in determining when to display your ads. For example, if someone's browsing Facebook at 3 in the morning, chances are they may not be the type of person interested in a real estate transaction. You never know. But you won't really get a lot of leads come through at 2 a.m. Most of those will come during kind of the busy hours during the day of Facebook. But in terms of days of the week, we have not seen really a whole lot of fluctuation in terms of what days matter more or which ones work better. with that said, we have talked in the past about rolling out kind of open house products down the road. That would be an area where maybe that's more important, knowing what day of the week it is. Most open houses obviously come on a weekend. So that's a timing based kind of trigger and ad in that sense. But in terms of a listing itself, there's not really any reason that Monday would work worse than a Sunday.
Okay, great. And another question, Corey, that was asked, do you need access to my Facebook business page to run these ads? And if so, how do you also have access to other Facebook pages that may not have anything to do with real estate that I have going on?
I'm very glad the question was asked. So yes, we need access to your Facebook business page. So we're creating the ads on your behalf. The only way Facebook would allow us to do that is if you give us what's called administrative access to your business page. Facebook is totally familiar. This is a very, very common practice. They're totally familiar with this and why you may want to grant us access. They realize there are agencies and there are businesses who offer products or specialize in solutions that require them to do things on behalf of customers or advertisers. So they do everything they can to restrict all things that you don't want us to have access to. So for example, if your personal account, let's say you manage 6 business pages and you use your real estate agent business page for these ads, we only have access to that real estate agent business page. None of the other business pages you manage. We don't have any. A lot of people will get concerned, well, do you have access to like my personal messages and things of that nature? None of that. We have access to nothing you send on a personal note, only things related to your actual business page that we have access to. So that we could theoretically, we don't for these products, but we could theoretically go in and make posts to your pages or edit your settings, which actually comes in handy should you need something done or a small tweak made. In a lot of cases, you could ask us and we could help you out with it, or even do it for you. But that is very restricted to the exact purpose and intent for our ads and what we truly need your business page for. And then to spin off that, just to elaborate on how we get that access, it's fully automated. So you place your order with your business page URL, you send that to us. Our system automatically, assuming it's the correct URL, so it would be facebook.com/John Smith Realtor. Assuming that's correct, our system asks for access automatically. So it will send a request right away. The request is pretty straightforward. It just says, do you want to grant, it'll be coming from what's called Social Concierge. It'll say, do you want to grant Social Concierge access to your page? You just click yes. It'll ask you to verify your password in a lot of cases just to make sure it's you and that you truly want to give us access. Once you're done that's it. We have access. If you love the ads and you want to keep coming back and continue ordering them, the good part is you don't need to do that access process each time. You have the ability at any point to remove our access to your business page. But if you don't and you come back and order another one, we already have access, so we just begin building your ad right away.
And I think another great thing too, I know Corey, you've helped with this before, but if there are any questions about how to provide access or how to set up a business page, we're always happy to help with that over the phone as well. If you have any difficulties using the information on the website when you set up your ad. So hopefully that's also helpful. I do have one other question. Do I have to use the reporting page or will I get my leads some other way?
So you don't have to use the reporting page. So the reporting page is really a tool that you can use at your disposal. So we give it to you right away. You have access to it immediately. At any point in time, you can pop in there. Let's say you're done your workday, you're at home trying to unwind. You just want to take a quick look and see how your ad's doing. That's a great way to use it. But we realize as agents, you're always on the road. You're not sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours a day monitoring your status page. So with that in mind, we made it so that you get your leads in real time. That's truly what's most important here, that these deliver leads and that they deliver them timely and effectively. So if you're, again, on the road using your phone, that's how most of the agents who use these, who buy these ads, that's how they utilize the system best. They get a lead coming through, they check their phone, they see they got a lead. If they're not occupied at the very moment, they can reach out right then and there. Obviously, as you all know, in lead gen and in trying to convert leads, timeliness is incredibly important. If you get 10 leads from this campaign and you don't reply for a week, you might have lost their intent. They may have gone to another agent. You know, you may have missed the opportunity really to secure that lead. So reaching out in a timely manner is very important. That's why you wanted to make sure that you have an opportunity to do that without having to just sit there and watch as leads come in.
All right, great. Well, Corey, I think that was all the questions.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I always feel like I learn so much in every presentation that you do on Facebook. Oh, sorry, looks like one last question
Okay.
possibly did come in. Let's see, I'm just waiting for them to finish.
Okay.
Typing that out. Oh, okay. This one I might be able to handle offline. So it's just a question about the actual checkout process. So
Okay,
with that in mind, thank you so much to everybody who attended today. Corey, thank you for a phenomenal presentation. And we're always happy to answer any additional questions by email or phone as well. So my information, Shannon Garman at rsppro.com, was in the invitation. So feel free to send me questions and I'm happy to help. And with that, enjoy lunch or a mid-morning snack, and thanks for attending.
Thank you.